Hi there, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a Faire Isle knit, and we are working on the Knitmaster Mod 100. I'll be using the needle selector just to show you how the pattern works. Here I am changing the yarn so I can start off with the next color. Basically I casted on with the orange yarn, and now I'm going to do 2 rows of the brown yarn. Here I am changing the dials so I can go into knitting the pattern. Here I am changing the yarn back. I decided to do some extra rows for the knitting because I felt that the tension wasn't quite right. This is basically the cast on rows, and I just did some extra rows just so that I could test the tension. Here I am changing the yarn again to the brown yarn so I can start the pattern. Here I am working on the first row of patterning. It basically is 4x4. I realized these patterns work on stitches of about 12, and that's how this pattern works. Once you have used the needle selector, you then just do the first row in color knitting. Now you're going to change your yarn to the green yarn, or to the different color that you'll be using. With the different color that you're using, this is actually still the first row. You're actually doing 2 rows to make 1 row. Here again it's 4x4, but you're using alternative needles. Here you'll be using the alternative color to make your first row. On the second row of color knitting that you'll be doing, you will not be taking the yarn out of the yarn feeder. Basically you'll be using the same color because you are working on a second row. So then you use the yarn that's actually in the yarn feeder, or on the yarn that's on the right or left of you. Once you've put the carriage to the right hand side, you then change the yarn to the other color that you're going to be using, and this will be what you'll be doing with most of the patterning. It's just a case of looking at the graph and deciding what needs to be changed. Here I'm doing the rest of the second row, and this is how you do it. It just takes a little bit of practice. It's not that easy to actually talk about because it's just about numbering and also making sure that you select the correct needles. Sometimes you make a mistake, but I found to fix it wasn't as difficult as I thought. Here I am doing row 3 of the patterning. Basically it's you miss 2 needles and then you work on 4 needles, and then you bring forward another 2 needles, and then you use the needle selector, which will pick up all the other needles. So actually if you follow the graph, it's actually gets to be quite much easier to do the patterning. Here I am doing row 4, which is basically leave 3 needles, work 4 needles, leave 4 needles, and then work 1 needle, and then use the needle selector to create the pattern. Here I am changing the yarn again. It depends on which side you're working from. Sometimes you've got to change it from the left, or sometimes you've got to change it from the right. When you are following the graph, just make sure you know which side the yarn is on. Some of these patterns, what they require is that they need a yarn on the left and the yarn on the right, which is the 2 alternative colors, and that's how you work it. And then as you work your knitting along, you just take the needles that you need in order to work that specific row for that specific color. But you just need to remember you are actually doing 2 rows in order to create 1 row for your Faire Isle knitting. Here I am working in the alternative yarn, which is the green yarn, and it's basically 3x4, and this is the middle row. So basically you do about 4 rows and then another 4 rows of the patterning going in the alternative way. You just got to make sure you know when you've got to change the yarn and to keep even with the pattern. Here I am doing the 5th row, which is 3x4, and this is basically halfway through the knitting of creating the pattern. In this pattern I'm using 3 colors. I'm using a brown, and I'm using the orange and the green. And the brown is actually just to emphasize the in-between part of the patterning. I thought of trying to more than 1 color or 3 colors just to see how it would look, and just to see if I could create more interest in the pattern. Here I am working in the alternative Here I am finishing off the row 5 of the patterning, which is actually 4x1, and you just use the needle selector to finish off this row. Here I am changing the yarn to the orange yarn. Basically I will be doing the next patterning, which will be row 6, which will be 2 by 4, and that's what I'll be doing on this row. This is row 7, which is 1 needle by 4 needles. Basically this will be the basically almost the last of the stitches on this patterning, and this is what you do with the needle selector. And you have to still work 2 rows on this, so you still got to do the orange row and the green row. Here I am doing the last row, which is basically 4 by 4. This is where I'll be using the green yarn first, and then I'll be using the orange yarn second. So this is the first row that I have to do, and this will be in the green yarn. Basically this is where I don't have to change the yarn because the orange yarn is already on the other side, and basically I just do 4 by 4 and knit with the orange yarn. Just make sure the needles on either side of the edge of your knitting is brought forward so that the knitting can be knitted in. Once I finish the first part of the patterning, I'll be doing 2 knitted rows, and this will be in the brown color, and this is just to finish off the first row that I've done, and I'll be continuing with this just to see how it comes out. After you've done the 2 rows, this is what the actual knitting looked like. I did make a mistake on one of the rows. As you can see, I made a mistake there, and but overall it was a very interesting knit. I really like it. I don't think this pattern has ever been seen before. Even when this booklet was out, I don't think a lot of these knitted patterns were done. I really love the retro feel about it. This is what it looks like on the back. It's actually not such a bad pattern. Would I use this again? Yes, I would. It's a really nice pattern, and this would possibly be great for Christmas and for any kind of other styles that you'd like to use. This is probably one of the last I'm going to do in the booklets. I might do one more pattern from the booklet that I have, and I'll see if I want to use it. I really want to say thank you for watching, and to please subscribe, and please leave a comment, and I will be looking at the next project soon. All the best. Thanks. Bye.